Hi, and welcome to What's Cooking with Rochelle. So today we are making carrot ginger soup, one of my fall favorites. And so carrot ginger soup is something you certainly could find in a gourmet restaurant in a menu. You might be able to find it in the grocery store. You can find a lot of stuff these days, but super simple, basic ingredients. And you're gonna see how amazing this is. And I'm sorry you guys never get to taste all the great food, but I do. So we have one bunch of organic carrots here. I've got some organic ginger and a shallot. And we have a little bit of coconut oil. So we're making this vegan for all of my vegans out there and dairy-free. So no dairy, no eggs, no butter in this recipe. So if you are looking for something super healthy, this recipe is definitely going to be one for you. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to peel our carrots, chop our shallot, and peel and chop our ginger. We're going to get everything in the skillet. Literally everything is going to sit there and simmer for about 10-15 minutes and puree it, and voila, there you go. We're also going to be adding some vegetable broth to that. If you did not want to use vegetable broth, of course, you can make this absolutely with butter. You could make it with chicken stock. You could also add cream at the end if you wanted something creamier. But we're making this a very healthy recipe for you guys. So the first thing we're going to do is rinse our carrots. And that's just to get the dirt off so that it doesn't get all over it on our cutting board. So again, this is just the peeler that I use. You can use any kind of peeler that you have. And doesn't have to be perfect. We're looking to get the outer layer off because it has a little bit of a taste to it usually. If you have a farmer's market in your area, certainly getting them from them. Carrots are one thing that the longer they sit around, they lose their nutrient value, so fresher carrots are better. You can always tell the carrots are fresh, obviously, if the stems are still all green. And this bunch of carrots cost me about $1.75. Ginger was less than $1, and of course the shallot's less than $1. So this whole recipe will cost less than $3 to make. Okay, so our carrots are peeled. Now I am going to peel the ginger and my shallot and then get chopping. Now we're not going to use this whole thing of ginger, so I'm just going to break a little chunk off. And we're going to be peeling it. Now you can peel this with the back of a spoon. You can even sometimes peel ginger with your fingernail. I love the smell of fresh ginger. If you don't like ginger, you could absolutely omit it, not a problem. Okay. When they have these little bumps and stuff, it's sometimes hard to get it all chopped out of there. You can use a knife to get in that part. Now, since we're going to be pureeing this at the end of the day, you don't have to chop it super consistent. But you can see I'm just going to slice it. And we're going to make about a tablespoon total. So that's probably good. I'm just stacking them up kind of to chop them into sticks. And then I'm just going to rough chop. Now, you could use a hand chopper, or if you wanted to use a food processor, you could. But again, because we're going to be pureeing it at the end, it doesn't matter so much. So that's just about a tablespoon there of chopped ginger. Now we're going to do our shallot. And so if you're not familiar with a shallot is in the onion family. If you wanted to use regular onion, you absolutely could do that as well. You could also use a leek if you wanted. They're all just going to have just slightly different texture and taste. As you know, there's many different kinds of onions in the onion family. You could even use a sweet onion for this if you wanted. And for the amount of carrots that we have, that's probably actually enough shallot as well. That was a decent sized shallot, so it looks like I used about half of it. And this is going to be about 2 tablespoons. So again, if you wanted to use regular onion, you could do that as well. So you could see this is all roughly chopped. Now I'm going to go ahead and get my skillet turned on, put the coconut oil in it, get that hot, put these both in and simmer them for just a minute before we add our chopped carrots. So I'm just going to add about a tablespoon, 2 tablespoons, just to make it so it doesn't stick. Nope, and it's actually... Okay, so we're just going to coat this around. Add our shallot. So while that is simmering on the stove, we're going to chop our carrots. So I'm just going to take their heads off. And we're just going to rough chop these. There's no specific size because, again, we are going to be pureeing them. I just want them roughly the same size, okay? And the reason I'm cutting them at an angle like that, and as you can see when they get to the thicker part, I'm cutting them a little thin, little smaller pieces so that they cook evenly. But the reason that I cut them at an angle like that is it adds more surface space, which cooks them faster. Again, most of the meals that I make, you can make in less than a half an hour, start to finish, which as a busy mom was always a plus for me. And even now that the kids are older, still working, it's nice to be able to come home, make something homemade, and have it on the table in half an hour. Okay, so we got our carrots all chopped, and you can see that's probably 3 cups probably altogether is what we got there. And we used half a shallot, a tablespoon of chopped ginger, 2 tablespoons of coconut oil, and that's what's in our soup besides the vegetable broth that we're going to get. Okay, so you could see how our ginger and shallots have now turned a really nice golden color. We're going to add the carrots. And then we're going to coat them in these wonderful flavors we've just made. And we're going to turn the heat down. So I'm going to turn it way down I'm gonna add the vegetable broth, just enough to cover the carrots. And then we're gonna let it simmer for about 10 minutes. Puree it, and carrot ginger soup we got. Okay, so you can absolutely buy vegetable broth already made in the store. A lot of the times I use a concentrated vegetable broth that is easy for you to make just what you need. If you wanted to make it from scratch, you could do that too, like the carrot tops that we threw away and the rinds and stuff, you can use that. So for this, it's a teaspoon per cup. So that one's a pretty good sized teaspoon. And we're gonna just stir that up. And you can see how quickly that was, that we've got our vegetable broth done in the hot water. Okay, and then I'm gonna add this over here to the carrots. And you can see that I added just about 2 cups and it's covering our carrots. And we're gonna turn that up just a little bit to boil. Once it boils, I'm gonna turn it back down. Okay, so you can see our carrots are nice and soft now. You can see the liquid has reduced too. If it's reduced too much, you can always add more water, not vegetable broth, water. If you add vegetable broth, it might be too salty. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to pour these into here. And so I'm actually gonna scoop them to make it not so messy. I've been accused of being messy once or twice. Okay, and so we've got that liquid in here with our carrots. I'm gonna add just a splash of water because I can see it's gonna need it. And literally all you're gonna do is puree this. Now, can you make carrot soup without even cooking it? Absolutely you could, especially if you've got a Vitamix blender. You put it on high, you blend it for about 5 to 10 minutes, and it will actually cook it that way. But we did it the easy way. So you can see it still needs a little bit more water. I'm going to show you the consistency. And this is our carrot soup. I'm gonna go ahead and get a bowl, get this started so that you guys can taste this delicious soup and show you how it looks. That is amazing, I must say. Excuse me while I have another bite or two. This is carrot ginger soup. It is vegan and ready to go. Hope you're enjoying it because I know I am. Thank you for joining me for What's Cooking with Rochelle, and I look forward to seeing you the next time. Bye for now.